Wonder Woman issue number 9. That's right, folks. We're back at it. It's nice just to get like a good old Wonder Woman book back in our system. I've been thinking about this by the time I finished reading this issue, just looking at how Tom King handles the Trinity. Because I think it's very interesting. He has so much reverence and respect for Diana that it almost feels like he's afraid to show her in a specific state. She always has to be above it all and know right from wrong and be able to persevere through everything. I really appreciate that because it's kind of true. He feels the same way about Superman, but in a more like classic-y, silly way. And then with Batman, it's just like, what if we broke down what this guy was and talk about how he's an insecure wreck? And I think that's like very interesting. Because you'd think he'd have the same reverence for Batman, and I think he does. I do think he likes Batman, but he wants to kind of break it down a little more. Like, we could do this type of issue with Batman, but it wouldn't have like the same feeling to it as what he does doing it with Diana, which I think is kind of cool. I respect that a lot. So let's just cut to the chase with what this issue is about. This is a montage of scenarios that Diana is playing in her head while she is being held captive by the Sovereign. Everything we are seeing is a manifestation of her own mind, and in it she is having a conversation with Steve Trevor. It's all very interesting. It's not a deconstruction of the character, it's just more her thinking about how to handle a situation. So it is not a filler issue. It is very prominent for this story because it kind of breaks down Diana to like a fundamental being, that she is not like a character who is destined for solitude. She does not have a fortress of solitude to get away from it all. She is not some mysterious loner on the rooftops of Gotham City. She is somebody who is elevated by the people around her and enjoys the company of the people around her. So having her be confined to a space, it's against her nature. So she is just talking to Steve, enjoying the time they have together. You know, they're having a dinner someplace and they're walking through a field of roses, and then they are fighting a big demon in one issue, or like one point of the issue. It's just Steve being a manifestation of her going through the motions, trying to figure out like what she's doing, how she's feeling, is she going to break out of the stuff. Just kind of trying to take comfort in herself, knowing I should be stronger. I shouldn't have to have these conversations with you, but I need them to feel something. It also wants to talk a little bit about the relationship of Steve and Diana, which is kind of cool. I think that's an important thing to play with and show. It's something that they need. So through the book, Diana's talking about how she only has one thing in her life right now that she can talk to, which is this rat that keeps showing up. And it's just like another creature, the bottom of the rung, just not being a part of anything. And then she's floating on an asteroid in space with Steve, and she explains that she had to eat the rat. And he's like, what? And she's like, this is the next tactic in what the Sovereign is doing to me. He's trying to starve me. And I spoke to the rat, and he didn't speak back, and I just said, please go away. Don't make me do what I have to do at this next point. I kind of like the idea of like giving Wonder Woman a connection with the animals, because we talk about Jumpa in this too, how she can just bond with all the creatures around her, but this rat just wouldn't respond. And she bit into it and she started to eat it, and she's like, it wasn't horrible, but I was also starving, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's all part of his plan to break her. And she's starting to see through that. It's like, I don't want to be alone, but if I am going to die or be trapped in this place, I want it to be in the terms I'm comfortable with. We see them kind of just like doing some, sparring matches, going through like a lovely dance in like the 20s or something, sitting at the Hall of Justice just talking about everything they're doing. And this version of Steve starts to argue with her. Essentially, he's being confined to the role that Diana was confined to in the last issue. In the last issue, it was almost like Steve's manifestation of like the perfect domestic wife of Diana that she had to break out of. And now this version of Steve that she's making for herself is starting to be like, well, I don't want to just be like the thing you need to get better. You can't just use me as an excuse to heal yourself, as like the thing that's going to help you. I'm not your plaything. That's not what my existence should be. And it kind of starts talking about their relationship. Just like, who is Steve Trevor without Wonder Woman? Is he his own realized man? Is he only It's almost metaphorical for the comic book industry itself, talking about the Steve Trevor character. Is he a real character, or does he only exist to be the male character in a Wonder Woman book? Can he exist on his own? Will he exist on his own? What is his role in everything? I really like that they just use Diana being like, I don't need anything from you, but I also don't want to be alone, and I do love you. Whatever that is, whatever version of love that is, I do love you, and I do need you, which I really appreciate because this is somebody that's important to her life. They're also talking about how long she's been trapped in there. She's starting to think it's been months since she has any contact with anybody. And it's just getting kind of dangerous. She's not really plotting how she's going to defeat the Sovereign, but just like, if I'm going to have things happen to me here, let it be on my own terms. I'm going to do it the way I want to. Really like that. It's really interesting. So then we have a beautiful page. I love this depiction so much. It is the two of them walking on a beach. The water looks so vibrant and cool, and it's Diana explaining that another rat came to visit her. This one was the female rat, possibly the mate to the rat that she ate earlier. And she explains that she had to kill the rat because she explained her circumstances. I had to eat him. And then she said, I'm sorry. I'll stay with you. I will comfort you. And you deserve pity. You've lost a lot, and I'm sorry for all that. Just kind of like, it's amazing. Like, a rat is like to Diana, you are losing. You are not doing well right now. I will stay with you to comfort you, to make you feel better. I'm like, that is a really interesting dynamic to build for Diana. Just how low can she sink that her only friend in this world right now is like a rat that is taking pity on her? That's a really cool area to explore. Then we get a nice kind of 9-panel grid of just Diana saying, I can't do it. I'm going to give up. I'm going to make a noise or whatever. And I'm going to have the Sovereign just do what he wants with me because I can't stay in this solitude anymore. And the version of Steve is just like, you have to. Kind of comparing her again to the Trinity. You know, Clark died. Bruce was broken. But you, Diana, you remain undefeated. Which is really interesting. So she takes comfort in that. Then we get a depiction where she's like, can I kiss you? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm going to not be real. She's like, I don't care. Just something in her mind to take her mind off of everything going on. It's really beautiful. And it's Sam Piri doing the stuff that he does well, which is just making this look amazing. You dig it so much. And then, all right, they're chilling now to feel comfortable. They're playing pool. She then takes them to the West and explains, like, they had access to man's world and, like, technologies of man's world from the time when she was on Paradise Island. And she saw all the Westerns and she liked it because it just made it very easy for her. It was something to escape to and just gave her a connection to the world out there. And it was just so easy to see that this was more complicated than the black and white stuff of her Westerns. And that's why she liked Steve so much, because he was just an easy person to understand. Somebody who was very aware of who he was and was beautiful for his merits and his beauty on the outside too. Which is kind of nice. And then we cut away from the stuff, the interior stuff of Diana's mind. And this is a beautiful page. I love this page so much. It is narration from the Sovereign talking to Trinity at some point in her life, explaining, your mom was a social animal, and we deprived her of that. But somehow, through the torturous rigmarole that we put her through the isolation that we tormented upon her, she was okay. And I was just shocked. It broke me. I was very disappointed. And you just see, like, the Sovereign opens up, like, the cell that she's in, that has been in for months. And she's just sitting there, bruised, bloodied, and petting her rat. And she's like, all right, old man, what's next? Just like, okay, you couldn't break me. I went through it because I had Steve in my mind, the thing I love, the person I love, and I had companionship in the form of this little rat that took pity on me. I'm like, oh, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy good. I love that so much. Like, that is insane. And then the Trinity backup is hilarious. It sees Trinity talking to Zatanna, who's just like, yeah, magic's weird. Cersei's a complicated one, so I don't know if this spell is going to last for an hour or a week or a month or whatever. It's going to be very complicated, but it will wear off. It'll get easier. You'll be fine. And she's like, I don't know if it's going to be fine. It's not great. And we see that she has Damien and Jon as little corgis, and she has to take care of them now. So back on Paradise Island, she's trying to play fetch with them, throws it really far. The Jon corgi does really good, but the Damien corgi won't leave her side. He just like wants belly rubs. And then we see her doing like a monologue about like the two of them arguing in like the somewhere, how Damien took Jon's ball and he won't give it back. It's really fun. They start to fight, and she's just like, this sucks. tries to do the superhero thing, I should say. And you just see her holding on to Damien and like the super flying corgis there, and she's like, this sucks, we can't do this. Takes them back to Paradise Island. They fall asleep on her lap, and she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm taking care of my brothers and their dogs. This is weird. I don't understand it. God help us. And then they wake up the next day and they're back to normal. And Damien's like, what the hell is happening? Jon's holding a ball. And she's like, oh my God, you're back. You're normal. Okay, good. Oof. Like, what do you mean? We were fighting Cersei, and what's going on now? It's okay. Everyone's back to normal. You're superheroes again. You're not corgis. Jon and Damien instantly go into yelling at each other, and they have an argument over the ball again. Because Damien's like, wait. Is that my ball? Oh, it's fun. Like, I just like that Tom is just like, I'm going to make the young Trinity just really goofy and have fun in this era. Because it works. And then we talk about Diana. It's about like a woman whose spirit cannot be broken and she will persevere through hell and back. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I love that so much. It's such a good book. I know it's up for some Eisners now, which makes sense. And it might be like the easy book to pick to like nominate, but it's still really good, so I can't argue with that. I can't. So, Wonder Woman issue number 9. I am going to give a 10 out of 10. Amazing. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.